Hello.
How's your dyke?
Hey, yeah, this is him. How you doing?
All right, how you doing? This is Priest.
Hey, I got probably it's about 16, 17 questions. Shouldn't take long
Okay.
because I know you got a busy schedule.
Oh no, it's not a problem.
Okay. First of all, how did you get the name Priest and the background behind it?
Well, the name Priest is very unique as far as the unique stories that I really don't know. All I do know is that my mother had three choices. She had the name of X, Fox, and Priest. And I think that was a no-brainer for her. She went with Priest. And I think that ever since then, people have always uh, played a little, kind of a little bit of a religious tone to my name at the same time. Not growing up Catholic by any means, but of course my own belief in Jesus Christ and faith like that. It just really has found favor in my life to have that name.
Okay. The next question was, what was it like playing in the backfield with Ricky Williams at Texas?
Well, that was a unique situation because one thing I can definitely tell anyone that talks to me about playing in the backfield with Ricky or with Jamal or different guys like that is that I've always played in the backfield with high caliber guys and, always felt that, given the opportunity and given my own shot that I would excel at the same time. But, going back to the time when I was a junior and Ricky coming in as a freshman and knowing I had just blew out my knee and had ACL surgery that spring of '95. I was in a situation where I really felt confident that when he came in, he really brought back the running game at the University of Texas. Alongside him was another gentleman by the name of Sean Mitchell. And I think just with that combination at the time that I set out that year, they did some phenomenal things. Ricky's a great guy. I even heard that he just recently cut his hair. I'm not sure if he cut all the braids off or if he cut off a portion of it, but that's kind of exciting to see the guy come out with a new look and see what he does this year.
Yeah, that's hard to imagine. Okay, what would you say was the key factor in turning your 2,102 yards rushing in 4 seasons at Baltimore to three consecutive 1,400-yard seasons in Kansas City?
I think the biggest turnaround was getting the call from Dick Vermeil. He was the head coach. He really felt like he told me, he says, Priest, I remember when I was commentating in the Big 12 championship game between University of Texas and Nebraska, and he was one of the commentators, and he had talked to the coach at that time, and the coach had said, there's going to be a star in this game, but it's not going to be Ricky. And I ended up having a wonderful game, an exciting game, and I really think it was with him thinking back to that time, he gave me a shot. He called me up personally, asked me to be the running back on his team, and I just took it from there. I think that any player that has the confidence of a coach that comes in and supports them is what they need.
Okay, yeah, I had another question about Dick Vermeil where he's referred to as a player's coach who gains respect and love his players. So you basically describe, what you thought about him.
Well, he's the player's coach, and the reason why is because you're gonna have Coach Vermeil call you up and say, "Hey, I want all the running backs and tight ends to come over on a Tuesday night. I'm gonna have a nice roast that I'm gonna prepare personally for y'all, and I'm gonna give y'all a nice bottle of wine." He's a connoisseur of wine. He loves to have his guys over and to get outside of the weight room, outside of the classroom, and just to get a chance to talk one on one. And you don't get that. You really never get a chance to visit a head coach's house. And only that happens when it's time for recruiting. But here's a guy that brings you over to his house and allows you to see that side of him also.
Okay, how important is the single season touchdown record to you? As you got closer and closer to the record, did that become more of a goal?
Well, actually, that goal actually started the year before that, before I even started playing. When I decided that I wanted to lead the league in rushing touchdowns and combined touchdowns was the time that I had got hurt. When I was laying on the ground in the stadium in Denver the year before that, and I had just messed my hip up. And I just remember when I was walking off that field, I didn't realize that I was that close even in 2002. I said, man, I had 24 touchdowns. I could have broke it then. But when I was walking off that field, I realized that I had just let an opportunity slip through my hand. So I said, the next time I get on this field, I'm going to break the record. So that record was broken a year before it even happened.
Okay, and coming from a hip surgery to break the season's single season touchdown record, what was your main motivation?
Main motivation was that I was at a point where I felt like, I had just mentioned earlier about having an opportunity and not seizing the moment and allowing circumstances to hold me back. So I went on and started my rehab. And in doing that rehab, I really wasn't given a clear definition of what was wrong with me, and it didn't really come out until maybe 2 months later. And I finally had my hip surgery. The whole month of April, I was on crutches, and I didn't even start running full speed until July, which was 2 weeks before training camp. And that was in itself a testimony because of the fact that, I had actually not even had a chance or an opportunity to run like the other guys have been running for the last 6, 7 months. So I really took it as a challenge. And, one thing that I know that I do very well is when there's an obstacle in front of me, I know I can clear it. And that's just what I went after.
Okay, and one of our users had this question. He was like, "Did the draft of Penn State running back Larry Johnson serve as an additional motivation tool for you?"
No, that wasn't a detour at all. I didn't even think twice because I knew exactly what I was after. I knew exactly what needed to be done, and I knew who was going to help this team go into the playoffs. Unfortunately, we didn't go past that first game that we played in after the bye week. But at the same time, I do know that as far as just the component of having me there in the backfield means a lot to the team. And I tell you one thing, when there was another guy coming on board, I said, bring him on because we need some help during training camp because it's going to be hot out there.
Okay, what would you say was the biggest difference in this year's team versus last year's team resulting in the season's playoff berth?
Well, and you said what's the biggest difference between the
This
last 2 years
year's,
of the
yeah,
playoffs?
this year's and last year's. Yeah, I mean, the record change, the difference.
Well, I think for us, we had all coach has always been preaching that we should actually look at the road to the Super Bowl is under construction always, and anyone can get there. And it was a matter of us just putting the team together and letting us know that we can improve our record. That if we had only lost a number of games in the middle of in the matter of not being able to score at the last point, giving up the last touchdown on our defense. And that's one of the things that we changed. And we changed at the first 9 games. We came out of the gate running. But there were some things they said about football. If you don't correct matters during the season, at the beginning when you see them, that once you get in the playoffs, it's too late because you'll get exposed. And I think we got exposed versus Indianapolis.
Okay, and what would you like to achieve before leaving the game of football, and what would you like to do after the game?
Well, right now I'm involved in an endeavor called Team Priest, which is a foundation that I started, and we really get right into the community and find out what's going on as far as the concerns and the problems. And we try our best. That I just use my status and this opportunity and this stage that I've been given to go to a major corporation and try to team up a major corporation in a need in the community. That's one side of things that we're doing. As a businessman, I started up Team Priest LLC, and we sell apparel, and we're just really gung-ho about getting into the community and helping out. I think that, having this opportunity, it can be used in several ways, but I think that as far as having influence and influence the lives of those young people out there, I think that's the most important thing that I've been trying to do. And business is the one thing that I've always had a real passion for, but I've always, stayed in football and said, hey, I'll do that some other time. But I think that now, over the last 2 years, I really kind of dug deep into what I've wanted to do, and we started up Team Priest.
Okay, and I noticed that Team Priest does a lot for the kids. What type of activities do they have?
We have a number of activities. One thing that's real big is we have an interactive website where kids can download pictures, and we have a coloring contest combined with Comcast, and we talk about the DARE program. Don't do this and don't drink that and don't smoke that, and it's not necessary. And those are some of the things and projects that we push. One of the things the kids can do is once they download these pictures, they can color them and send them back in, and then we vote on some of the best entries, kids 1 through 10. And we just had a contest winner, and the young lady's name was Eva Kearney, and we presented her with a gift certificate and came out there and took pictures, and I had a chance to speak to her class, her third grade class, for about 20 minutes. And, those are the things that we do, try to be exciting. We also have the truck that's wrapped. We try to take that to different events, and I think that the kids really get excited just with the fact that I'm trying to get that.
Okay, and so far in your football career, what person do you most respect? I mean, whether if it's a coach or a player.
Right now, I think that the player that I've always looked up to is Tony Dorsett. And I've always looked up to him from afar, by watching tape. I had a chance to meet him once when I was playing for Baltimore. And the one thing that I try to do is when I was young, I always tried to find someone that looked like me. I could actually run like them, try to do their moves and try my best to kind of emulate them. And, I found someone like Tony Dorsett to try to pattern myself after throughout football, because for me, it'd be too hard to be trying to pretend to be Shaq, trying to get down low in the post with him, So for me, I always tell kids, try to emulate someone that's similar to the things that you feel you can do and just pattern them.
Okay, and before the game, is there anything you do or listen to prepare or hype you up for the game?
Well, it's not really in any particular order, but it's a matter of getting two different types of massages. It's one is a kind of like a manipulation of a massage where they kind of work with getting you stretched out. Another one is one where I can use the needles and do some acupuncture. There's stretching that goes on. There's then getting ready for the game. Music. Hey, listen to whatever's in the locker room, I'm listening to. But in terms of making sure that I get that routine, of making sure that I get that massage, I get that stretch massage, then I go to the Bible study that we have because we have a chapel service before the game, and then making sure that I get all taped up and ready to go. I'm just trying to get out there by the time it's ready to play.
Okay, and I know a lot of athletes like playing at home, but away from home on the road, what stadium do you prefer to be in?
I actually like any stadium with grass. That was my main concern about free agency when I was deciding which team I'd go to. And people say, "Man, you're crazy. Why aren't you in Dallas? You're right there, back closer to where you're from in Texas." And I said, "Man, they just don't fit because they have AstroTurf." So for me, it's anyone that has grass. And one thing that's exciting, they're coming up with this new grass. They just put it in Baltimore. The Baltimore Ravens have it in their stadium. Seattle has it in theirs, and it's more that field turf that has that rubberized rubber that's shredded and then laid down, and that's a real good turf too. But I'm telling you, the one thing that I think about is playing on grass.
Okay, and what is the most important advice that you would give a rookie that's just got drafted into the league? I mean, like what to expect or anything like that.
The one thing that I would tell a rookie is that he has to plan out his first year, that he can't go in there blind, which I think most people do because either you don't have an uncle or older person that you can talk to, or you really don't know anyone in the league, but you really have to try some way or somehow to reach out to some of these older guys and set up a plan of what you're going to do your first year, how you're going to accomplish some of your goals, because the one thing that happens to players that come in the first year is at the time that they spend on their own with nothing really to do, it kills them because then you start having that idle mind and you start getting into too many different things. And here it is, you only have a game on the weekend, and then you have all this time during the week to start, doing whatever. But you got to stay focused, and you got to try to take up that time with some things that you can do.
Okay, and from a sports hobby standpoint, how do you feel about, autograph signing? I know a lot of athletes have mixed feelings about it.
Well, autograph signing is not a problem. I think that when you're dealing on a level of giving something to what the public wants, giving them something, and it's something that they need, and they actually have waited and have anticipated you coming to this particular signing, or you promising that that at least 3 times out of the season you're going to go out here and sign some autographs. I think it's well worth it. I think that at times athletes get discouraged at times because it can get overwhelming. Because there might be that one day where you're tired, you're frustrated, you dropped a few balls, you made some mistakes, and that's the one day you're at the grocery store and someone asks you for an autograph, or someone asks you, "Hey, would you mind signing for some kids?" And you give them one of those looks like, "Don't bother me right now," And that's the
Yeah.
only thing, we're just human, just like anyone else. We have our good days and our bad days, but overall, I think that is a part of the game, and that's the part of us giving back and showing our appreciation to the fans.
Okay, and I want to know, is there any, I mean, like, what is your hobbies, or is there anything you collect? Because I know, there's a lot of athletes might collect sports memorabilia of the past or players they look up to. So, what exactly are your
Well,
hobbies?
the biggest thing right now is collecting jerseys from different teammates, or actually getting some of the throwbacks. I think that for me, one thing that I've kept is my own personal jersey, the one when I broke the Russian record, and led the Russian record 2 years ago. Actually 3 years ago, in 2001, that was something that was monumental for me, and I framed that jersey. And then just getting balls signed, some of our footballs signed by different players is something else that you get a chance to display. I have a Hall of Fame ball from Tony Dorsett. So, things like that, really, really tickle me. And I'm not over the board. I don't have that one room dedicated to it quite yet, but I got a few pieces. But you should see some of the places I've seen. These guys go after it, boy, when it comes to collecting items.
Okay, and last question before we go: is there anything that you would like your fans to know about Priest Holmes? Because I know a lot of interviews they might ask questions,
Yes.
that's everybody knows about, but I know athletes probably have something they want to say, but they never get to say it.
Well, I can tell you this one thing, and this is something funny. I'm somewhat of a perfectionist, and my thing of being a perfectionist is a lot different than most people and how it's defined. I'm a perfectionist in a way that I can really have a really messy room, but just don't move nothing because I know where I threw everything. I know I threw the shoe over there, and I got this paper underneath this dresser, and I had a key somewhere underneath the blanket, and I can't find it, but I know I'll find them eventually. So just don't mess with
Yeah, that sound about like my room.
it.
I know how you feel. But hey, man, I'd like to thank you, man, for taking the time to doing this interview.
Okay, no problem.
And if there's anything you need, you got my number, or you can have Alicia to email me. And
Yes.
if there is any events or something you want advertised, just let me know.
Okay, I appreciate it.
Okay, thank you for calling.
All right, thank you. Bye bye.